السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. ثم أما بعد. Is there any specific sunnah when it comes to eating food, Jama'ah, that you can remember? Right hand, what else? Sit down. Three fingers. Eat from in front of you. Say Bismillah. 1/3 water, 1/3 food, 1/3 breathing. Drink, in 3 intervals. You're missing one sunnah, Jama'ah. How about licking your fingers when you're done? Do you guys do that these days? But we're now too proud to do it, We're too proud to do this right now. Let's hear from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in regard to this very simple in the sunnah. The hadith is hadith Jabir radiallahu anhu وارضاه. قال أمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بلعق الأصابع والصحفة. The Messenger of Allah, Jabir says, the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم commanded us to lick our fingers. Means after you're done from eating. He commanded the licking of the fingers and the cleaning of the dish. لعق الصحفة means basically the translation is to clean the dish. Although some people misunderstood it because the Arabic text says أمر بلعق الأصابع والصحفة. He commanded the licking of your fingers and the dish. If you look at it this way, how would you do that? You grab the dish and start licking it like that? Like one time I was actually, I received a phone call from a group of people. They were in California. So they called me and said, Sheikh, we have an issue here. So what's going on? They were in a fancy restaurant and they were eating. And when they were done, one of the brothers insisted in grabbing the plate to lick it. And they said, Ya akhi, what are you doing? Don't do that. He goes, A'udhu billah, this is sunnah. You guys are, kind of like, are you denying me to practice the sunnah? Even if they argue about it, this is not what it means, blah, blah, blah. They said, okay, fine. Let's find a solution for this. So they called me. So they said, is that true? Is it sunnah to do so? So I said, give me the guy, give me the phone. So I spoke and I said, listen, it doesn't mean that way. This means to clean the dish. But how back then they used to do that? With the same thing, with the fingers. So with their fingers, they make sure that they grab everything that is left there on the plate, and then they lick their fingers, not the plate itself. Nowadays, there is an easy way to do that. You have a piece of bread, just wipe it, the dish or the plate clean with a piece of bread, and eat that bread. The sunnah here, the Prophet ﷺ is recommending for us, is to leave absolutely nothing to waste. That's what it means. In support of this, the statement that came after this command, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إِنَّكُمْ لَا تَدْرُونَ فِي أَيِّهَا الْبَرَكَةِ. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you do not know in what portion of the food is the blessing. You don't know it. Could it be the beginning of your food, be the end of it, could be the remaining that stays in the plate, or that sticks on your fingers. The few grains of rice, instead of cleaning them off right away, just make sure that they're clean, and then after that you can clean off with a cloth or whatever. That is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So again, the sunnah is not just about licking the fingers and cleaning the plates, as much as not to waste food. Not to waste food, Jama'ah. I mean, for us here living in the West, living in America in particular, we're known to be the number one problem. The number one country and society that wastes food. A lot of it goes waste because of liability issues. A lot of it because of liability issues. So you go to a party, for example, and they have all this food, invite all these people, they eat probably one portion of it, maybe 1/3, 1/4, and the rest of it goes to the trash. Why? Because of liability issues. I remember one time I went actually to a correctional facilities to give a talk over there. So, the brothers were being tried and being incarcerated over there. Of course, with the arrangement with the chaplain and everything and so on, they brought, mashallah, a feast for us. And we were about 3 or 4 of us, with about maybe 10, 15 of them. But they brought a feast, 2 carts of food, literally. Rice, chicken, greens, and a lot of stuff, subhanAllah. So how much are we going to eat anyway? So we ate a little bit, and after we were done, when they start wrapping everything, subhanAllah, they start grabbing all the trays and all the remaining of the food, which is completely sealed even. And they start they're about to dump it into the trash. And I just freaked out. I said, stop it, what are you doing? Because we're getting rid of it. I said, why? It's still good food. He said, well, they looked at the chaplain. And I looked at the chaplain and says, what's happening? He said, well, we have a liability. We're going to have to, get rid of it and so on. I said, you know what? I'll take it. He says, I can't do that. I can't let you take it with you. I said, I'll sign whatever waivers, whatever paperwork you want me to sign. Let me sign it. And let me just take all this food out with me so I can give it to those who deserve it. But it's just, subhanAllah. So when I was looking, wallahi, I couldn't do anything. I'm just looking at the food that's been wasted and thrown into the trash. Trays of food, not even touched. Still the plastic wrap is on top, subhanAllah. And I'm looking at that. Chicken, salads, pasta, all that stuff is just being thrown to the trash. And I'm just like, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us not to leave anything to be thrown into the trash if you can still benefit from it and eat it. Sometimes, a lot of you guys would just grab an apple and then you peel the apple. What do you do with the peel? Most likely you throw it away. Right? Because for you, I don't like that, I'm going to do this. Sometimes you grab the bread and you take or the pizza, and what do? You take the crust off. And then you throw it away. Because it's too hard for you to chew. But that's food, Ijma. It's still food. You can't do this. The sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is not to waste the food. If you don't want to eat it, give it to someone who can eat it. If there is no one to eat it, then find a way to make benefit out of this food. If you have a compost, let's say in the backyard, that would benefit afterwards, into the ground, that's good. If not, if you can raise chickens in the backyard, do it. Give them some food. Whatever that you can do, basically, not to waste anything. It's a great ni'mah, it's a blessing. In the hadith, also the continuation of another narration, he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَإِذَا وَقَعَتْ لُقْمَةُ أَحَدِكُمْ. If someone drops a morsel of food, like when you grab something falls on the ground. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَلْيَأْخُذْهَا فَلْيُمَطْ مَا كَانَ بِهَا مِنْ أَذَى وَلْيَأْكُلْهَا. Just pick it up. Remove the dirt off of it, or whatever harm that came on it, and then eat it. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In our culture, in our tradition actually, it's completely the opposite. What do they usually do? If something falls, what do they tell you to do? Throw it away. Don't touch it, throw it away. That's what they say, right? That's what they teach your children. But why? It wasn't his hand, he just dropped it on the floor. Just pick it up and just make sure it's clean and then eat it. Well, you don't know who was walking, stepping in. It depends on really what the ground that you were walking on, but if it was in the house. So in this case, we teach them wrong values sometimes. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَا دَعْهَا لِلشَّيْطَانِ. Don't leave it for the shaitan. He said, when it says لَا دَعْهَا لِلشَّيْطَانِ, doesn't mean that shaitan is going to come and eat it. It's going to stay there and rot probably. So the shaitan is not going to eat it. But when you leave it to the shaitan, that means, subhanAllah, the shaitan is benefiting from this now. That we've wasted food and we wasted ni'mah and blessings. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَلَا يَمْسَحْ يَدَهُ بِالْمِنْدِيلِ حَتَّى يَلْعَقَ أَصَابِعَهُ. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and do not wipe your hand with the towel, or you don't wipe it off with the towel until you have licked your fingers, which means you clean them and remove the food. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَدْرِي فِي أَيِّ طَعَامِهِ الْبَرَكَةِ, because you don't know in what portion of the food the blessing of Allah lies or would be. So these are some of the examples of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the etiquette such as eating food. Make sure you teach your children this value, Jama'ah. Please, 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 teach them the value of preserving the food and making sure they only pick what they can eat, and if they leave anything in their dish or their plate, they should actually finish it afterwards. But eventually we teach our kids not to be wasteful of food. Especially if they eat rice. You know how kids are messy sometimes, right? When they eat, they leave a lot of crumbs all around. You teach your kids to pick up the crumbs. If the rice grains, they fall off the plate, after they're done, make sure that they pick it up and they finish it. When they eat with their spoon, sometimes a lot of actually grains of rice will stay in the plate. Teach them to wipe it clean completely and then they eat it. So eventually we teach our children the value of food. And also for you guys, don't bring grocery, too much grocery that will stay in the fridge and they would rot in the fridge because you didn't have time to cook it or to take it out to eat it or whatever. If you're not going to use it, don't buy it. If you know that you're going to be going out of town, don't fill the fridge with food that's going to go to the trash afterwards. Making sure that you follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in the preservation of food. Wallahu ta'ala. Any question? I made you hungry, I believe, right? Yes. So how did they get the idea on licking the plate as sunnah? Because the Arabic text says, أمر بلعق الأصابع والصحفة. The Prophet, he ordered to lick the fingers and the plate. So they thought the licking the plate meaning the literal licking of the plate. Instead, the meaning of it is basically to clean the plate, to wipe the plate clean, and then you lick your fingers. That's what it means. Wallahu a'lam. Na'am. Yes. What if you have too much food on your plate, you can't eat anymore? In this case, take it, to go if it was outside, and make sure to eat it afterwards. If it was at home, wrap it with a plastic, wrap, and then just write your name and the date on it, and put it in the fridge. So would you know that it's yours, and when the next time you're going to finish it? That's like something we do sometimes. We teach our kids to do. That if someone's going to leave anything during dinner time, you wrap your plate with the plastic and write your name and the date, so we know that this is yours, and how long has it been staying in the fridge. So they're going to have to finish at some point afterwards. Wallahu a'lam. Yes? Does that apply to what? I don't believe in junk food, ya akhi. Because what you call junk for others is actually the feast. It's a feast for other people. Then don't eat it in the first place. If something is harmful, don't eat it in the first place. But if something has harm in it, like eating too much ice cream, then don't eat too much ice cream. Just eat ice cream, but not too much ice cream. All I'm saying is that there is no such thing as junk food, Jama'ah. If you know that something is harmful, just don't eat it in the first place. I mentioned many times, probably maybe, subhanAllah, even something such as ketchup. People, they consider these ketchup pouches are the most annoying thing, right? Because they're all over the place, and most of the time we throw them after we finish food, subhanAllah. I've had a roommate who would make his dinner, his supper, just ketchup. You just squeeze the ketchup in a plate, and then put some olive oil on top of that, some salt, a little bit of pepper, and then he mixes them together, and bismillah, with bread. Tastes awesome, ya Jama'ah. Go and try it now when you go home, inshallah. Here's the ingredient again: ketchup, olive oil, a little bit of salt, and some black pepper. Mix it and eat it, and say bismillah before that, right? SubhanAllah, I never thought this would be actually tasty, but when I tried it, I said, Ya Jama'ah, wallah, that tastes good. That was his dinner. Since then, I've never looked at ketchup pouches the same way. Never. Because I've known since then that someone can really make a full meal for themselves out of it. So what you consider junk food or nothing, a lot of people, they would wish to have just the remaining of what's in that pouch. Wallahu a'lam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.